Hi there, friends. I'm ABC 13 meteorologist Elita Loresca. Here's your need-to-know weather. Dry conditions, but also some stronger winds behind that front. That breeze will be blowing in out of the north. Still dealing with heat advisories, but you'll notice that the excessive heat warnings, instead of our northern counties, they will be along the coastline. That front that I just mentioned, it's still to our north, but as it continues to drift southward, it's going to slow down. So what happens here is you're going to have the moisture pooling out ahead of that front, and that's going to send those heat index values rocketing down along the coastline, 110 to 115 degrees. So I know the last few days have been miserable. I mean, who am I kidding? The last few weeks have been miserable. It is going to be even worse this afternoon out ahead of that front, but there is some relief on the way. Currently, we've got a temperature reading of 83 degrees in Houston. It feels like temperature of 92. Again, front has not moved through yet. We anticipate that front to move through sometime between mid-morning to early afternoon. Again, depending on how fast the front is moving. And right now, it is still north of the Brazos Valley. 83 degrees right now in Galveston. You will find that the temperature readings out ahead of this front will be somewhere in the low to mid 80s, and then you factor in the humidity, and obviously the heat index values are still very high out ahead of the front. But you can see that the trend, I mean, we're talking 60s and 70s right now in Abilene, running a good 10 to 15 degrees cooler behind the front. Now, before you get excited, we're not going to see that huge of a temperature drop here. We may find temperatures dropping off, especially overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, as some of that cooler, drier air rushes in. There will be a few lucky folks in our far northeast counties. Well, we're going to get a 6 in front of that first number. So some upper 60s tomorrow morning, some lower 70s in our far northern counties, and we should stay just below the 80-degree mark here in Houston. Here's a loop. This is the last 6 hours. You can see that the front is not helping very much with our drought-stricken Lone Star State. It's not producing a lot of rain, just some clouds. But I think what's going to happen here is there's going to be enough moisture that pools out ahead of the front where we're going to get some clouds. And there you can see Future Track is hinting at some isolated, very spotty shower activity. Now, don't be surprised if a few of these heavy downpours blossom into a couple of strong thunderstorms. Non-severe, but we're still talking winds gusting between 40, maybe even 50 miles per hour. And then you've got the rain chances really dwindling the further north you go. So we've broken it down into 3 different categories, if you will. Closer to I-10, you've got a 30% chance of rain. But along the immediate coast, where the sea breeze circulation gets going, that's where we've got a 40% chance for some wet weather for you as well. Now, in addition to the hot, dry weather, we are going to be dealing with an ozone pollution watch for today. So unhealthy levels of ozone this afternoon. So I know already many of you are going to limit some of that outdoor activity. Now, I encourage you, those of you that live on the north side of town, to step out later on tonight. Feel the effects of that drier air coming through, because it will be noticeable. Along I-10, it may be noticeable for you as well, but it's really during the overnight hours into the morning hours where that drier air is really blowing in. So first thing Wednesday morning, I know I'll be one of the parents that'll be walking my kids to school tomorrow. I'm going to be enjoying this. The feels like temperatures are going to be similar to the air temperatures, somewhere in the low to mid 70s for those of you along the I-10 corridor into the north. Closer to the coastline, it's going to be a little bit more harder pressed to see those dew points reduced to the 50s just because of the location of that front. And then unfortunately, by Wednesday night into Thursday, notice those dew point temperatures are back up, meaning that our chance for getting that humidity break will be very short-lived. Now, in addition to the front that we're dealing with for today, I'll also be monitoring what's happening in the tropics. A couple of tropical waves that we're watching in the far eastern Atlantic. Right now, the probability, the formation odds are low. We've got you down for a 20 to 30% chance. But notice this area that I've highlighted. This is some deeper tropical moisture coming in from the Atlantic that we're going to watch move across the Caribbean. And right now, this model, this is the European model, is showing that this deep tropical moisture will be taking aim somewhere around the northern Gulf of Mexico. So for our states, there is an opportunity here for some widespread showers and thunderstorms. For now, we've added a 30% chance for rain, but as you know, this far out, our confidence is here. But as we get closer, hopefully we'll be able to build up that confidence to even increase those chances for rain. But this may be our next chance for seeing some widespread showers and thunderstorms across our area. Remember, the last time we've seen some recorded rainfall at Bush Airport was back on July 6th. So it has been a while. Computer models are showing, yes, there is definitely going to be some moisture on the move, especially into the Gulf of Mexico, if we can just get that moisture coming in our way. And that may happen again as we get closer to the event. So a lot to talk about for us coming up these next 10 days. Thankfully, it's not all about a heat dome and how it's going to keep us hot and dry. All right, time now 7:40, and you're watching ABC 13. We've got some chances for rain, but unfortunately, the fire danger is going to remain high because behind this front, we've got some extremely dry air in place. Very warm and humid out ahead of that front. The dew point temperatures are still in the sticky 70s this morning, but we'll notice a change later on tonight, especially by this time tomorrow morning, my friends. Low to mid 80s out the door this morning, still a heat advisory, and notice an excessive heat warning down along the coastline. That's where we're going to see those peak heat index values between 110 to 115 degrees. I think we're going to break another record at Bush Airport. We did it yesterday with a high of 104. We can do it again this afternoon. But as you mentioned, Rita, there is a slim chance for some wet weather. We've got a few scattered rain showers, an isolated thunderstorm, maybe even some strong gusts. With those thunderstorms, overnight lows will be dropping just below the 80-degree mark in Houston. But once that front moves through, a drop in humidity, maybe even some 60s, lower 70s in our far northern counties.